G'day guys, this is Jay here, Journey of a Whitefeather, a chat with Jay, Robin Hood effect, all that stuff, kangaroos, koalas, and Steve Irwin impersonations. Of course, love what I'm doing, love meeting new people, but I really enjoy meeting people who want to make a difference in life, who have a journey and live life to the fullest. I've got a lovely friend of mine. Now, I'm going to get your name right because I'm hopeless. I'm going to admit it. Soreya, all the way from New Zealand. I remember Soreya because I'm a pro wrestling fan. There's a wrestler called Soreya. But I've read your bio, and it was amazing. I'm so glad you came on because even though I have different people come on talking about their journeys, and obviously I've gone in a few different directions. I look at the freedom fighting type thing. I look at physical and mental health, but also spirituality, which you're huge into. And obviously being in a beautiful place in Thailand, Copenhagen, is that right? Copenhagen. There we go, Copenhagen. God, I'm hopeless. Look at me. Long day it is, especially living in Australia. But it's such an interesting journey. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what a beautiful energy you do have.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've got that sun-kissed thing going on when I'm
well, I can tell you, bro, got that New Zealand accent there, so that's pretty cool, eh? So it's your third podcast, so it's exciting to get out there. And as I said, you've got so many people doing so many things, and excited to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what makes you tick, Soreya, makes you want people to help others and want people to come to you.
Yeah, I think, it's always based on lived experience, Jay, and I'm in my mid-50s now, so I'm past midlife, although if I live to 108, I'll be happy. But my life is based on lived experience, having gone through the thick of life and how life just continues to test and challenge and push us through the edges and through the portals and into the dark spaces and into the light again. And I've realized through my journey of hardship and beautyship that, a lot of my life has also been very destiny driven.
Okay.
That this is my path. It's like I'm here to be in service to others, like many of us are. And I'm here to play a role that life has, put me in this path to play. And so, I've led a really interesting, diverse, big life. When I look at sort of what the norm is, I'm like, that's not me. So I'm a mother of a beautiful 21-year-old boy who's flying, so now I can sort of fly off. And I've done a lot in the transformational space. Since I was 19, I've been on this path.
Wow.
And
okay.
I can't get off it. As many times as I've tried to kind of divert, it's like life just brings me back on. And now I'm writing books and screenplays. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, I've taught at festivals and I've done a lot of really amazing stuff with my life and worked with thousands of people around the world. So I've been really blessed.
Fantastic. So you said you've done a lot of work, obviously, in the spiritual realm, in the healing world. We'll call Reiki energy healing. What do you find your main modalities at the moment? What are you finding that people are coming to see you for? Is it your experience with what thing? I reckon you've got it. I want to say, I reckon you've got a like a fan or something, because that hair's flying. That's like rockstar hair, man.
Honestly, it's 34 degrees here, so
don't rub it in. It's like 10 degrees here.
It's not for effect. I literally will melt if I don't have the fan.
Oh no! Hey, I love it, man. I love it because I just quickly sorry to go off. That's fantastic. You got the rockstar hair. You got the rockstar hair, as you say. But that's great. It's grouse, man. But what do you think people are coming to you at the moment? You've got a lot of modalities. You've gone through your journey. What are you looking at with regards to what do you feel that your niche is at the moment? Because obviously people's niches change. What do you feel that yours is at the moment?
Yeah, well, the main clientele, if you like, are obviously women in their sort of 50 plus going through this transition of perimenopause to menopause. The kids have left the nest, maybe relationships are dissolving, and that cliche of women looking for their purpose. But the modalities that I'm most working with, and I suppose most passionate about, is psychedelic assisted therapy.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and then working with our natural Kundalini energy. So working with the natural, Mother Nature, are probably the two main modalities that I work with.
Okay, what about your opinion? I'll throw it straight up. Let's get deep into it. What do you think about their disconnection of people to the earth? Because I play very heavily in that, and I'm a big believer. Have you seen The Shift by Wayne Dyer?
Yeah, I have.
Right,
yeah,
so
long time ago, actually.
Yeah, watch it again, because I watched it 75 times and got something out of it every single time with the transformation and growth and ascension. What's your opinion on people being disconnected from the earth?
Well, it's obviously rampant in life, isn't it? It's like capitalism just running crazy. I mean, living here in Copenhagen is quite different because people are actually coming here to reconnect.
Oh, right, okay.
Different therapies here. They're working with dance therapy and water therapy and psychedelic therapy and breath therapy and Kundalini energy and tantric energy. So living here has given me a whole new perspective on what people are actually really needing. But the majority of humanity are stuck. Like they're stuck in their jobs. They're stuck in the capitalism of life. So I don't necessarily think that it's a choice. I think if everyone had a choice to live closer to the beach or closer to a mountain or closer to the earth and not have to be in an office 9 to 5 and do things that humanity has to do, that they would choose that. But life isn't allowing that for the majority.
Well, there's a lot of that. I mean, I can't really say too much at the moment, but I won't, because I'm obviously fully embedded in that circle as well. It's more about. But tell us about Kundalini. Tell us what your understanding of Kundalini is, because I know Victor Otto. You're sure you've heard of Victor Otto, and Aaron Doherty. When we first got together, my friends and I, the superpowers, got together. I call them the superpowers. I'm a superhero fan. We were talking about a lot of the stuff, and we did a lot of online seminars about Kundalini, the Kundalini effect, the Kundalini theory. Can you explain to the listeners about the Kundalini effect or Kundalini healing that you do?
Yes. So I did the Kundalini awakening process probably, 17, 18 years ago in Bali, and had quite the experience. And then I went and trained as a Kundalini Yoga practitioner and a Kundalini Yoga therapist, which is very different. Very different. Okay. So there's the Kundalini awakening process, which takes so Kundalini is life force. It just means life force or energy. It's a Sanskrit word. Yep. And it's this that moves everything in life. It's in Mother Nature. It's inside of us. And so when the Kundalini is activated, whether it's through a spontaneous activation or an intentional activation, it moves through the body from the base of the spine to the top of the head. So the Kundalini awakening process, or CAT, takes you through the body and up out the top of the head, which can cause psychosis if people are not ready for it.
Okay.
Whereas Kundalini yoga and meditation still moves the energy, but it moves down through the higher centers and the lower centers to the heart. So we're awakening the heart.
Is that so I look at, I'm sorry to cut you off there. I'm thinking the way where I was at, and then I'm just putting it upon board. It's like, for me, it was getting more connected with the universe and becoming more in your heart chakra than your head. That's sort of like the Kundalini awakening process.
Yes.
While you're talking about that, would you be able to talk about some of the signs and symptoms? I shouldn't say signs and symptoms. It sounds like it's a damn disease, but it's not. Because does the Kundalini effect work with regards to where your headspace is at? Like if someone's in a negative or not in a grounded space, or if they're sort of in a spiritual awakening or have had their breakdown or different phases of life. What do you think about that?
It affects everything. It affects every aspect of your life, and it affects every cell in your body. And that's why it needs to be intentional. It's like taking any kind of medication or drug, right? You need to know what it's for and where it's going and what it's doing. So it's the same with working with any type of medicine from Mother Nature. is that you need to be intentional and you need to respect it and you need to understand it.
Want to do a big shout out to our friends and supporters at Liberty Bullion. Sammy and the team are the best gold, silver, and platinum traders in Australia. Make good choices, give them a call. Back to the show.
So if you're awakening your own life force within, you want to intentionally move it to a part or an aspect of the mind or a part of the body where the energy needs to go.
Okay.
Now, if you're just respecting it and doing, like Kundalini awakening processes over and over and over again to trip out or have a high, it's going to mess with you. It's like when people take drugs just to trip out, it can sometimes mess with you. So it's no different when working with Kundalini energy. It's a beautiful, powerful medicine that knows what it's doing. But if you get in the way, if you let your ego get in the way, it'll have its way with you.
What about this one for you? This is great. This is great, chat, because I was in a cyclone. I was in the hurricane last year.
Yeah.
Hurricane Beryl. Okay. Now, I asked for a Indian sweat lodge. I'd love to go into one. I was pretty much in one in Houston. I was in a hot room, had to close the doors, had to close the windows, mozzies, 35 degrees. The power was out. The toilets, whatever you want to call them, weren't working. And I basically had me, myself, and I, and my spirit. Now, Kundalini, does the Kundalini work in that way where you sort of go within and you have to talk to your inner child, talk to your inner spirit, and it basically brings up, you're in a position where you are actually facing the mirror. Would that be a fair way to describe what you guys do?
That is exactly what it is. And even though there's varying layers of it, I had an experience just a few months ago with dengue fever here in Thailand, and it was the same thing. I had 35 degrees. The power just happened to go out. We had a tornado at the time, or a monsoon or whatever it is. And I had 10 days of just lying on the lounge floor, having to be with the energy in my body, or not the energy in my body. And
tell us about that. Tell us about what you felt.
I felt probably the closest to death that I'd been to in terms of an illness. Like, it's not an illness, right? But it's a virus of some sort. Like, I've had a head-on collision. I've had a scooter accident that was pretty traumatic. But this took me to that point where I didn't actually know whether I was going to wake up the next day.
Wow.
And because I know what I know, and I've learned what I've learned through embodiment, it's not through the mind, I actually came to a place of peace and surrender. And because I couldn't come to family, because the power was out, my phone wasn't working, I sensed through spirit I was saying goodbye to everybody that I love. I was saying sorry to everybody that I've hurt. I was literally having these conversations externally while
do you think, okay, I'm going to cut you in on that again. This is fantastic conversation.
Yeah, it was a very scary but also an incredibly beautiful moment in time.
What do you think? Are you talking to your inner child then? Or do you think it was like a fear, or do you think it was a fear from, because mine was an inner child fear that I was put into a position where I was by myself, I had nobody, I had nothing. I was in a foreign country, and this was probably one of my greatest fears, to be sort of vulnerable in nowhere. And, when you're a kid and you have those fears wherever it came. Did you feel that way as well? Or do you think it was like a current?
No, not so much. Probably because I've done so much inner child work. I'm like going back to the memory, and I've actually just written about it too. So It was more about being totally present and accepting that if this is the way I'm meant to go, and being at peace with that. Like the fear wasn't about, oh my God, how am I going to die? Or like none of that came. It was more like, I'm alone. I have no friends in this country. I have nobody that I can call right now. And then I remember the next thought was, well, you die alone anyway. And then the next thought was like, I wonder what it would actually be like. Like, I wonder.
Wow.
Then I got a little bit excited about, imagine if I went through it and then came back and I could write about it. And I was having these thoughts and going, wow. Because I was totally delusional. Like, I hadn't eaten for 6 days. I was completely delusional. But it was a total spiritual experience, but it wasn't in a child. I wasn't a child. And there I was laying naked on the bathroom floor, kind of holding myself and just wondering, was I going to wake in the morning? Like I was,
So how
I
did you get
was,
over it?
how did I get over it?
Yep.
It just, it, it just kind of burned through. Like I
Okay.
trusted that my body knows what it needs to do, right? I'm not going to hospitalize myself. I'm not going to take medication. My body knows, my body
Wow,
wisdom
that's good trust, man.
and
That's good
intelligence
trust.
knows what it needs to do. So it knows how to fight a dirty little mosquito. So having these thoughts, like I've trained and mastered my mind, not completely, but so much so that I remember having these thoughts and then crying and going, geez, I hope I can trust my mind, you know? And then I remember one morning waking up and there was just this little bit more energy. And I was like, oh, I'm coming through. And then it was, days and days and days. But here I am.
It's scary. It's scary, isn't it? Like, and how does that impact you on your teachings and what you've done now? Has that made a big impact on how you've changed as a teacher and a lecturer and a spiritual guide, or even just changed upon yourself, your outlook on life, anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's just, it really, like that experience humbled me. And it's made me so much more grateful for everything that I have. Like, I live a really, I'm not a wealthy woman by any means, but I live a very abundant life. And compared to when you live somewhere like this and you see the poverty and you see the sickness and
Yeah.
the addiction and everything, and the sex trafficking and everything that happens in a place like this, it's made me so much more grateful for every part of my life.
Fantastic. Do you so
Grateful for
obviously,
being alive.
well, I mean, you go through that. I mean, nowhere near what you just did. Geez, that's an amazing experience what you've done. And what are the biggest teachings you can give someone from that? If you were to do a lecture now, if you're talking, say you're talking to 1 million people, and you've had this scary experience, what's the thing that you would tell people if they do go through, or what you learned? I'd like to take this time to shout out our supporters at Liberty Bullion, the best gold, silver, and platinum traders in Melbourne, even Australia. If you want to give them a call, their knowledge, their customer service is second to none. Back to the show.
I had a question like that asked similarly a couple of weeks ago. And you know what I said, Jay? I said, if I was on stage talking to 1 million people or through this medium, I would get them to dance. I would actually not say much at all other than maybe put some blindfolds on them and put a whole lot of really amazing music on and just get them into their bodies to experience some sense of joy or embodiment, because there's too much talk these days. There's too many people telling so much information and overloading the psyche with information that I'd want to do it really differently. I'd just, you know what? Let's dance. Let's move our bodies.
Let's do
So
yeah. It's all about movement. It's all about movement, vibration. I see a friend of
let's
mine, David.
breathe together, or let's do something that's not talking and not listening and not feeding the mind.
Well, I think, look, I love that. I do DDP yoga and that, right? But I think I think you're 100% right with people talk a lot and give a lot of information. And when I do with the Robin Hood effect, is I make people aware, but what we have to do is people have to act upon that, don't they? It looks like you're doing exactly that. I think more people are acting. I want a leader to act upon things. There's a lot of followers out there, and I think people like you and me jumping up and talking about. There's nothing wrong with talking, but what we're talking about is actually making a difference and saying, right, okay, go and watch the shift. Like I completely consider myself a master hype man. I'm the hype man. I think,
Yeah.
mate, that rock star hair, man. Swear to God, it's grouse. I see the hair going. Reminds me when I was on stage and I got the fan, and it's just you there playing guitar and you sit there. It's cool. So if a client comes to you for some healing, obviously disconnected from the earth or disconnected from themselves, what are you going to do? Other than
Um,
dance, great.
well, yeah, we do move, but
Awesome.
the way that I work with a one-on-one client is I'll give them the stage for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and just say, what is it? What are the main things that we're working on? I don't want to hear about a story. We're not doing talk therapy or counseling or psychotherapy anymore. And then I will take their date of birth and I'll look at their yogic philosophy, yogic numerology, and then I will discern which practices that they need specifically for what aspect of their life or their body or their mind that they're working on. And then I will prescribe a breath practice. I will prescribe a movement practice, and I'll prescribe a meditation and a mantra.
Okay.
So I'll give it through Kundalini medicine, and then we might also work with psychedelic medicine.
Yep.
That's true medicine I want to work with, but unfortunately it's not legalized in most of the world. So that one's
that's very true. Yeah.
It's a tricky one to work with. But yeah, when clients come to me, I work very specifically with their core wound. It's not so much about what's sitting on the surface. Those are the symptoms of life, but their core wound, which is always goes back to abandonment.
Abandonment, self-esteem, self. It's either abandonment or you actually belted negatively in some way, whether it be physically, mentally, spiritually. A lot of people are still. I think it takes a lot of guts to go through what we all go through, but actually come out the other end. And very similar to what you're saying with Greg Riley and Michael McNair from 5 Dimensions when I did my Shadow Warrior course, it was basically about talk. People talk too much, but they don't know how to actually act. And I think that's a great thing what you and me are doing. Always have the question about psychologists and psychiatrists. They do a great job, but what happens when they walk outside what happens when you walk out? You go back and were you made really accountable? Robin Hood effect number 2. Were you made accountable? Giving them stuff like that.
They keep them in the loop. You got to go back for 2 or 3, or some people say to me, "Oh, I've been with my therapist for 10 years," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. No, I
agree with you. Depressant medication for 5 years, and I'm like, "And are you still depressed?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I go, "Well, is the medication working?" And they're like, "Oh, maybe not." And I'm like, "Okay, something needs to change."
That's right. That's exactly right.
These can be supportive, but we've got to get to the core wound.
Well, even the core wound, I think it's just basically acting upon having the guts to actually be yourself and run what you're doing. I mean, I think what we're both doing, we're very, very similar, even though you're doing Kundalini, I'm doing hype motivation and life strategy. At the end of the day, we've gained a lot of skills from what we've done.
Yeah.
And what we've gone through. I mean,
that's what we are, Jay. We're bold people, and we're not afraid to say the thing that might trigger somebody, or that can be a lonely road too.
Well, I think I agree with you. I think connecting with people like yourself, we've got a connection with it because we're already on the same path. We already know this. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, divine timing. I believe in lessons, gifts, and messages, which we're doing. There's a reason why me and Soreya are talking right now. We're meant to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, there's going to be some sort of, something's going to happen in the future because we're both on the same journey. We're both on the same we're both practicing the same sort of thing. But it's a wonderful thing what we're doing. Might ask you again with regards to what's happening in the town that you're having. You've got a lot of people coming to see you. Are you doing group therapy, and what kind of spiritual, what's the word? Because you're in a very spiritual town. What's the spiritual growth since you arrived? And were you drawn to that area, drawn to where you're living now?
Yeah, it's more the spirit of the land. Like I feel the soul of the place, and I couldn't feel the soul in New Zealand. Like there were pockets in New Zealand, of course, but I was in main city, and I was like, "There's no soul here," and the soulless people. And then I went to Koh Samui, and it was like, that's not quite right. And I arrived here in Koh Phangan, and I'm like, "There's soul here," but there's a lot of lost souls here, a lot of seekers, a lot of thrill seekers, a lot of people that are coming for restoration and that are traumatized from Israel and Russia. And so there's a sadness that's sitting under the layers of the joy as well. So
yes.
The work that I'm doing here, in all honesty, is I'm doing a lot of just being on my own and writing. I've just finished the book, and the screen.
Tell us about your book, because I've got
Yeah,
one as well.
so
We have to. Is it available yet? Can we buy it?
you can. It's available in digital format because
That's all right. Where else can we get it from? And what's the name of
um,
it?
it's called Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis.
And it's a hybrid memoir that takes you on the journey of a woman that is oh God, it's so challenging to like do it in a 30-second elevator
Well,
pitch, but
guess
it's
what? I'll give you a hot tip right now.
okay. Give
I've
me a
got.
hot tip.
I'll give you a
Tip.
hot tip. I'll give you a hot tip because my coach
Yeah.
JT Fox,
Yeah.
the number one business strategist in the world and a wonderful individual, he said you have to be able to sum yourself up in 29 seconds.
I know, which is just crazy.
No, you can do it. I did it. I thought, I'm going, oh my God, I've done it.
Okay. It's the story of a woman who goes deep into her core wound and ultimately finds her destiny through writing a book that then goes out to millions and then becomes a TV series. So it's the whole arc of what happens in between that space. So
Fantastic.
the last chapter and the last series is literally her sitting on the couch with her son and the main actress that is then they're turning Netflix on and watching her series come up on the
Wow.
screen.
Okay. So you talk about, so it's a real spiritual journey. Like it's a spiritual journey about how you got to sit on that couch and the ups and downs of sitting on that couch going, wow, I'm looking as I look at my book journey, but Whitefeather available now, bestseller on Booktopia, available now on Amazon.
Awesome.
That's right. Yeah, well, that's why I keep telling this to JT Fox Domino's page thing. But they just said to me, it's a real, it's one of those things where you can back read the book, what you're saying. I can already see some of the things that you've been talking about already.
Yeah.
I think that big dengue fever thing was probably the biggest transformation of your life, really.
Probably, well, one of them. One of them.
Okay.
I've had many, but that was the big one that I've had here. The digital format of Metamorphosis has breath work and music and playlists and meditations and guides all through it. So it takes
Okay.
the reader on a multi-sensory, multi-dimensional journey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool
Excellent.
stuff. So
Excellent.
that's why I
Well,
went to digital format.
well, excellent. We'll get a copy of the front cover, and I'll make sure I split screen this so we can put it up so everyone can go right there. It is. It won't be forgotten.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do that. And
thank you.
again, it's very interesting coming on to the show that I do. Have you been looking to do a podcast? You will do a podcast after this. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I probably will, but it hasn't been my focus. Like I've
But
had to get
you know why you're doing one right now, don't you? I'm going to cut
really.
right in. You know this is your first episode, don't you?
Oh, is it? Okay, great.
You got no choice there. You got to go on the YouTube. You got to make a channel, and you got to go. This will be your
Yeah.
first episode. So this is my first
Okay.
because I will definitely do it.
I just
But
think
yeah,
there's so many people doing it, and I'm like, oh, did you just get in there with the whole
no,
with the
I'll tell you, JT Fox again. Here we go, JT. I think there's some reasons why this is going to keep going. Obviously,
yeah,
there's a reason why people connect as we do.
yeah,
Podcast is to build yourself and build your brand. That's it.
yeah. It's an easy way to do it, especially when you're a good speaker, right?
Yeah, well, you don't do it too badly. I think
Thanks.
so. Anyway, oh, that's what you said. You said it's your
That's
first
it.
podcast, so I really appreciate you coming on board and talking. Enough. Oh, we're talking about ourselves here, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to have a mutual admiration for each other, but it's nothing wrong with that. But no, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, on all seriousness, it's good to connect with different people. And I think a big thing. Tell us, we've got about 5 minutes left on this episode, on this chat, on this part. Energy. Talk about that. It's funny, divine timing, however it worked. You know, we're on the same path and we're getting on quite well. Do you do you get many people who have been challenged by humanity in that way these days? Because I find people come out and say they're either people pleasers or they've been in a situation where they've just, just said, no, they've just been in a situation where they thought they were popular and they're not, or they're basically living a fake life and living this, oh, yeah, we'll go and suck some wines down and some caviar and all that, but it's not really real. And then they find out that it's not real. What do you think about that idea?
I think that life has a really incredibly fascinating way of bringing the truth out. And so wherever there is masking or fakeness or whatever it might be, life will sort it out. And we as humans just need to leave it alone a little bit more. I think we judge and project way too much, me included. And I've learned to go, yes, human nature, so I've learned to go, just let life deal with that. Call it karma or call it lessons or whatever, but it's happening. Like the masks of humanity and all the structures are being broken down left, right, and center at the moment. And I trust that. And that's why there's room for people like you and I to start coming out and speaking more boldly and more, authentically. And there's a lot of people like us, and then books and, like what we're writing that are very controversial and unique are starting to come out. And then you think about, mainstream TV, how much that's changed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Last question for this chapter or this part, deep thinking, writing, journaling, ways of getting things out. How are you set with regards to people expressing themselves once they find that they have to express energy out? So do you look at activity? Do you look at breathing? But then you've got that the mental side of things where people have to actually release those emotions. How do you feel about that with the Kundalini side of things that you do?
For me personally, it's been the Kundalini Yoga that has been the main and the only medicine that has worked for me other than psilocybin.
Okay.
So, not everybody has access or has an openness to psilocybin. So as long as you can move the energy through your body, and there are very specific ways to move Kundalini energy, and it's not scary. People have a perception about Kundalini being scary. It's beautiful, but it does awaken the dormant, stagnant, stuck shit that we hold. So emotion arises. That might be anger, it might be sadness, whatever. So you've got to be ready for that, and then for your heart to crack open into love and compassion. So
yeah, do you think if people
move the Kundalini, people?
Do you think people get scared when they find themselves?
I think some do, yeah. I think many will not even try.
Yeah, I agree with you.
100%. Like when you think about the addiction and the suicide and everything that's going on our planet at the moment, the dependency, so many people are terrified of their own light. It's not their darkness they're terrified of. And that's been said for years.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely, I think people are scared. I mean, I still sometimes, wonder about success and how scared it is. You live in the moment or you live in the feeling of it instead of living in the actual reality of it. And the reality, the feeling is going, right, I've got this for the rest of my life, but the actually living it's a different story. Yeah. Soreya, we're going to go to part 2 in 1 minute because this has been great. You've been a wonderful guest. And I mean, third line up, and hope you're not too nervous or anything like that.
No, I'm not nervous at all. I'm in my element.
Well, hey, as I said to you, there is going to be a podcast. Your podcast is coming out soon. I just put it on you. There you go. So this is your first episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is part 1 over. So we'll get into part 2 very, very soon, and we'll get more into the book and more about the teachings. It's, as I said, next level about spirituality. It is a next level. So there's a lot of questions that can be asked, and, we could go either way with it, but we're looking forward to part 2. So thank you very much, Soreya. We'll be back with part 2 very, very soon.
Thanks, Jay.
Have you got a story to share? The experiences that you went through those dark times, need to be told, need to be heard. The teachings, the lessons. I know when I had a stroke scare that it changed my life. My name's Jay from Journey of a Whitefeather, and I run a show on Spotify and all good platforms called A Chat with Jay. I talk to normal everyday people who have had experiences that need to share their teachings with the world. I speak to celebrities who are there, who can give you advice how to become a better person. Bruce Buffer, the Kings of Disco, Blackie Lawless from Wasp, so many people, but I love talking to the normal everyday person that gets up every morning to be their best self. If you want to be a guest, whitewarriorhealth@gmail.com. Check out our socials, hashtag Jay Stephenson, hashtag Journey of a Whitefeather. Take care and always be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.